So today we're going to be talking about how auto loan fraud is absolutely exploding in 2023. Now, traditionally, as the economy starts to slow down, banks will slowly adjust the way they do lending. Now, as you guys know, during the pandemic, the banks were really free with money and they were pretty much giving everybody loans, and people got really used to that, buying cars they couldn't afford with really no down payments or down payments that didn't fit their credit profiles. Well, now fast forward to 2023, banks are starting to tighten down. They're going to want two major things. You either got to have good credit or you got to have a big down payment. Now, as you guys know, we are in the middle of a recession. People don't have those big down payments like they used to during the pandemic. And a lot of people neglected to pay their bills during the pandemic, so now their credit is not so great. So you have those two factors going against the majority of the people out there looking for new and used cars. So what's happened is this has spawned a big movement in the auto loan industry where people are starting to come out there and basically commit all types of auto loan fraud. Now, there are people out there that are selling these packages like, we're going to fix your credit, or we can help you buy a car, we can do this. They're going to do either take off things off your credit, they're going to sell you fake trade lines, or give you authorized users, all kinds of crazy stuff. So today in this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of all the things you need to know about if you're a dealer, also if you're a consumer, things to stay away from. If there's these fake credit gurus, they always come out during a recession. How to buy a car with no money down, I'll fix your credit in 60 days. A lot of that stuff is BS. Only use people that are trusted, that have been around for longer than 5 to 10 years. Don't mess with any of these clowns on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, any of these gurus. Look for people that are actually certified in actual credit repair. So today I'm going to go over a whole breakdown of what to look for and some of the scams they're out there throwing. So the first one we're going to talk about, it's pretty easy, is fake pay stubs. There's so many people out there that are getting these fake pay stubs from either Fiverr, fakepaystubs.com, or I think it was paystubs.com. That stuff doesn't work anymore. We have so many things as a dealership and as a bank to combat that. We can usually tell when they're fake. So there's a bunch of templates that we know that are absolutely BS. Also, when they're ADP or Wells Fargo or something like that, we have 1-800 numbers that can actually track down and see if that account is real and if those numbers are real as well. Also, I believe the IRS is coming out with something kind of like Plaid that you could double search people's pay stub results to see if it's actually true and the calculated tax and everything else is being paid for that individual. Another proof of income is bank statements. A lot of us dealerships and regular people use bank statements to justify people's income so we can help them get a loan. Now, traditionally, this is more on the creative end. It sometimes helps people because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money through their bank account, but they actually pay a lot of it out in bills. But it looks really good to banks when you get auto loans. Now, a lot of people found this out and started posting all these videos on YouTube, how to game the system, how to like borrow your buddy's fake or his bank statements and put your name on it and blah, blah, blah. And that shit doesn't work anymore. A lot of banks will literally make you log in front of them and we'll print it off from the company. Also, we have things like Plaid, and I can't remember the other one, LexisNexis, it's a sister company. They can actually verify that that is your account, your name's on it, the deposits match on your actual paperwork, whatever, all the stuff that's basically on there can be verified. So the old days of just flashing like copied bank statements, don't do it. I know there's people out there selling you bank statements for like $300 or $400. Don't waste your time and money. That might work for maybe a small independent dealership that's not checking paperwork, but now with so much fraud going on, banks are double checking and really cracking down on this. Also, consumers need to understand this. If a bank can realize that they got the car due to fraud, they don't go after the customer. They go after the dealership that sold them the car, which is not fair. So even though a piece of shit customer can come in there, scam, lie, give us fake pay stubs, fake social security number, all that stuff, and if they run away with the car, the bank charges the dealership for that vehicle. So we have to give them all their money back and then we have to chase them. So that's why it's so important that not only consumers and dealers pay attention to this video, because there's going to be a lot of people out there getting scammed. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is extremely controversial. This is what's called a CPN, credit profile number. Now, a lot of these fake gurus, these credit guys are like, oh, there's nothing illegal about a CPN. Every time I talk about it in one of my videos, there's somebody in the comments that scream, it's not illegal. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you this very, very simply. It is not illegal to have a CPN. It is illegal to use your CPN for the intent of defrauding somebody to get credit. That's where the legality comes into play. So all these idiots that look, there's nowhere it doesn't say that it's illegal. Yeah, but when you're defrauding a bank or a business on basically saying you're a good person with your great credit score, but you're really just defrauding them with your fake number, that's where you can get thrown in jail. I've seen it happen here in Nevada. I've seen it happen in Texas, also California. So if you guys are looking at buying these CPN numbers, don't waste your time. Save your money. I know it's very tempting. They sell you sometimes a CPN with maybe 2 or 3 trade lines. All of a sudden you're a 600-700 credit score and you get automatically approved for a lot of these things. A lot of that stuff doesn't work anymore. You're going to spend $500 to $1,000 to maybe $2,000 for one of these CPN numbers with 1 or 2 trade lines. And what happens is a lot of these guys don't check the information. And if you run your credit, let's say you apply to Capital One and you try to go back to Capital One and you reapply, it sees that it's the same person and merges your profile, and then your number is basically shot. It's tied to your old credit. So that's why I tell people, don't even waste your time with CPNs. Also, now with LexisNexis, we can check if it's a CPN. All the banks now have accounts where they can see if it is a CPN or not. It won't get past the first round of funding because all the banks will kick it back because they know it's a bogus number. So please, people and dealers, do not mess with CPNs. You will get burned. Now, this is going to go out to a lot of people in California, Florida, and New York City. We've seen record amounts of fake IDs, driver's license, matriculas, which are Mexican driver's license, other countries' passports, stuff like that. There's guys out there on freaking Fiverr and a few of these other places selling these fake IDs and driver's license. So what these guys are doing now is they're going out getting fake IDs, and then they'll go pay one of these fake credit gurus to give them a number that matches their CPN number with their ID, their fake ID, put them together, and now they're a brand new person trying to go out and buy a car. Now, these are the same idiots that go out and try to rent our cars and drive them across state lines and leave them, and we have to chase these people down. So that's why it's very important. If you're a smaller dealership, it's going to cost you $200 to $300 a month, but get LexisNexis. You can run their DMV license in there, and it'll give you a report saying if the license is legit or BS. You don't have to waste your time, waste your money, and all it takes is one bad deal. When they take off, like one of my buddies, he got burned for a brand new G-Wagon. They gave him a fake social, a fake driver's license, and even the money, some of the money they gave him was counterfeit. And when he turned it all into the bank found out about maybe 3 weeks later, kicked back the deal, $180,000, gone. Those guys, gone. Same thing, won't answer their phone. That car is probably overseas somewhere now being chopped up. So don't fall victim to this stuff. Double check IDs. If they're out of state, learn what the actual ID looks like. There's a bunch of websites to tell you what to look for. And don't be afraid to ask for more identification. Copies of social security numbers, passports to verify, all this stuff, because you don't want to get burned. So another big thing are a lot of people doing these BS business auto loans. They're going out to all these small town credit union and banks, and they're actually getting loans from their business to do an auto loan on it. Now, the downfall with that is if the bank doesn't receive the title, usually within 60 days, they're going to notify the dealership and tell them that they're going to back charge this deal or cancel this deal if they don't receive the paperwork. Now, a lot of times these small credit unions don't tell people that you need to have that type of collateral secured. Now, some banks, I won't mention the ones because I don't want people out there burning them. There are some banks where if you get an auto loan, it will convert over to a personal loan if they don't receive a title. So that's some of the things that these credit gurus are teaching people. But there are some banks and credit unions, especially when it comes to business, that don't do that. But they will give you blank checks when it comes to businesses. So if you get approved for a $100,000 car loan, you can literally take that to a dealership and buy 2 cars cash and walk away from it. And the next thing you know, the bank is going to be blowing up the dealership. Where are my titles? Where is this information? They weren't allowed to buy this car. It's not part of the criteria. And so it falls upon the dealer. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is what's called a first payment default. Now, I shortly went over it just a minute ago about how if a customer does something shady, basically gives them a bad social security number, gives them a bad ID, or just screws them, doesn't make the first payment, there is a thing called the first payment default, which means most dealerships have a contract with the bank that says that if the customer doesn't make the first payment or they commit fraud, me as the dealer has to guarantee that loan. Now, I know you guys are thinking, oh, dealers, screw them, they deserve to get burned. I personally have had to chase 3 to 4 people in a single month sometimes of these fake people. that are out there doing bad numbers and stuff like that. Now, it sucks because I've seen this actually put dealerships out of business. This one dealership in Atlanta, they found out that the guy was brand new. He didn't know what he was doing. So what happened was they all got together and they bum rushed this one poor guy, and basically bought a bunch of cars from him. He thought that he was doing great selling all these cars, but next thing you know, all these gypsies wind up robbing him blind. All bad social security numbers, stuff like that. Takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the bank sometimes to catch up, or they just wait for the first payment. They don't make it. And then all of a sudden the bank's like, hey, what happened to that customer? Where's our money? And then they start looking deeper. Then they find out that the pay stubs are fake. Maybe the ID's fake. And now they're telling the dealer, hey, you know what? You have 6 auto loans that are defaulting. We need $180,000 tomorrow. And if you don't pay us, we're going to sue you. And we're going to tell all the other banks that you're a piece of shit and you don't pay your bills, and they're going to close you down. So some people have actually lost their livelihoods due to this type of fraud that's going on right now. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I got off a dealer conference call and there were so many people complaining about the exact same thing. They can't get deals approved because the banks are really scrutinizing pay stubs. It's making much harder. And then the loans I have coming back, which is called a buyback, where, like I said, they do first payment default, they're having to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month buying back cars and then hiring repo companies to go out and chase these people. Now, I know 90% of the population doesn't really care when dealers get burned or screwed, but there are some good people out there that don't deserve to be ripped off by some of these crooks. So the last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is what's called a trade line. Now, this is a credit guru's wet dream. There are companies out there that will sell you trade lines to help boost your credit. Now, there's a good way and a bad way to do this. I'm going to explain both to you, even if you guys are not extremely knowledgeable about credit. I think everybody should know these things. So what happens is, like I said, as the economy tanks, these fake credit gurus start popping up and saying, we're going to fix your credit, we'll get you trade lines and blah, 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 and you're going to be a rock star. What they don't tell you is a lot of their trade lines are fake, maxed out, or they're not real, or they go on one bureau that doesn't even work. So what I mean by this is they will say, hey, I'll get you auto loans to pop up on your credit. So you'll say, oh, really? I can get an auto loan? Yeah, it'll show that it's paid off and you'll get a bunch of points and you'll look great and you can go get the car that you want. The thing they don't tell you is it may not pop up on all 3 bureaus. It may only pop up on one. Also, sometimes when they buy some of these aged loans, they actually have late payments on them. So when they put them on their people's credit, it actually ruins their credit instead of helping them. Also, some of these ones are active lines of credit where people are still making their payments on them. They just double up and add people onto some of these auto loans. And what happens is the person that's on there now, if they stop paying, now your credit turns to shit. So these guys are selling these awful packages that are screwing a lot of people. And 99% of those, they call them primaries, that show that you're the primary borrower. A lot of those are fake. I've seen people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this stuff. Now, when I was a buy here, pay here dealer, I reported to the credit bureaus. There is legal ways to do this if you actually are giving out loans. But don't trust anybody that's trying to sell you these trade lines because, like I said, 99% of these things are fake. If you have some real ones, hit me up in my inbox. I mean, there's a bunch of people I know that need them, but I tell a lot of people, don't mess with that stuff. It's like playing with fire. Now, the next one is authorized users. This is extremely popular and very easy to get where you don't have to pay for it. Now, if you have really bad credit or you're going through the issue of fixing it, it's good to find some sort of authorized user. You ask your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, hey, do you have a credit card? Yes. Do you have a zero balance? Yes. Can you add me on there for 90 days and then take me off so I can get the credit history on my account so I can show some sort of positive traction? Because a lot of these fake credit gurus will get you to the point where they'll tell you don't add anything. We're just going to clean your credit. And so what they do is they charge you either one big fee or they charge you monthly. So they jerk you around for a year cleaning your credit. But in the meantime, you're not getting that positive traction of credit. You need to start building something new. So even if they are taking stuff off, don't believe the hype. Add something good on there so this way you're moving forward. Now, get something like that. Ask a friend or family member to get it on there. If they don't have it or none of your friends want to do it, there's companies out there that will charge you a certain amount of money to do these things. These are the credit gurus. I don't really recommend using other people's authorized users because what's going to happen is same thing. If they add you onto their credit card, now you have a $50,000 credit card. They charged you $1,500 for it. You're happy, excited, but all of a sudden that guy gets broke. The economy's going bad. So what does he do? He goes out and maxes it out. Now it goes against your credit report. So now it's something that you have to deal with. I see it all the time. All these guys, I won't mention names, but there's a shitload of people in Atlanta. If you're looking to do credit repair, don't touch anybody in Atlanta. Stay away. But that's unfortunately the issues that are currently going on in the market. Now, if you want to build credit, there's a bajillion ways to do it. You can go to Navy Federal Credit Union. They have secured credit cards. Discover card has probably the best one. You give them $100. They give you a credit card. 90% of banks will do a guaranteed CD back loan. So you can give them $500 and they'll give you a loan against that. Pay it for 4 or 5 months, 6 months, whatever year. Boom. You keep doing this. Get to multiple banks. I remember getting them all the way up to $10,000 and going back and forth because I ruined my credit a few times. Now, nobody's perfect. We all know that we fall on our faces and we need some help getting back up. It's okay to get secured loans and it's okay to get secured credit cards to build your credit up. If you want to hire somebody to take off inquiries and other stuff, I have my friend Mike. I actually trust him. He's a legit company. He's in LA. He actually has a physical business that does this and a whole group of people instead of these people that are doing it out of their house, mailing letters to whoever. So I'll leave his information down below. But this is something that I tell people you need to be careful of, not only as a consumer, but also a dealership, because consumer-wise, like I said, these fake credit gurus are going to come out there and try to screw you out of your money. Don't listen to them. Don't pay them up front. And if you do, pay with your credit card if you're going to do it, because I guarantee you if you send them cash, Zelle, or whatever else, they're going to burn you. And if they say they don't accept anything, that means that they know that they're doing shady business and they won't do it. My friend, you can pay him with a credit card, you can pay him with PayPal, you can do all that stuff just to make sure you're secure, because he knows that if he fixes your credit, you'll be so happy you'll tell all your friends. So that'll be the first thing. Dealers, double check your paperwork. If you get a bad feeling, it's okay to walk away from the deal. I know we're just instinctively designed to just sell cars, push metal, but if you get that bad feeling, double check the paperwork, call them, roll the car. Sometimes don't submit it off to the bank yet. Do a little bit of research on the customer, and you will hopefully lessen your amounts of being frauded and having buybacks from the banks. But anyways, I would love to know your guys' opinion, or if you're seeing the same thing in your market. Also, if you know all these fake credit gurus, let me know some of the crazy stuff that you guys have seen. Please put it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions, once again, hit me down there below. Follow us on Instagram @LuckyLopez, and we'll see you next video.